Hello, hello, hello. Happy Thursday. I'm Alexandra Harbushka. I'm founder of Life With Herpes. I'm excited to be going live with you. Today, I just recorded a bunch of videos for the vlog up on YouTube. We talked about a lot. We talked about what it's like to get diagnosed with herpes later on in life. We talked about accepting a partner. We have other things to accept them for than just herpes. We talked about other locations that herpes can appear. It can appear ocular. There's ocular herpes. There is herpetic whitlow, which is on your hands. We talked about oral versus genital. We talked about some of the products that we have here, the Secret Society Wellness products that I have all in here. Very exciting. Those are the products that are specifically for herpes outbreaks that I love. So feel free to ask me your questions here and I will answer them. I will get right to them. Do I have chocolate on my mail? No. Like I was saying earlier, I was talking on the vlog about different types of herpes. People ask me all the time, well, is it just oral and is it just genital? Well, no, it can be different locations. And I mean this typically speaking about HSV1 and HSV2. So there's lots of other herpes viruses, but specifically talking in the herpes terms that we know, HSV1 and HSV2. So you can also get HSV1 orally, you can get HSV2 orally. You can also get it in your eye. That's called ocular herpes, and that's something that's very, very important to know. There's about, 50 or 100,000 cases? I should look that up. There are not very many cases annually, but the important thing to know about ocular herpes is that you can go blind. So it is important that if that is something that you think you have, that you definitely get that checked out, because you do not want to end up going blind over herpes. Then there's herpetic whitlow, which is on your hands. That was very common back in the day when dentists didn't use gloves. I don't know about you, but there was a time when dentists didn't use gloves. I remember that when I was a kid, my dentist didn't use gloves, which sounds like super creepy, which you're like, that would never happen now. But back in the day, it wasn't a thing. So there were a lot of dentists then that got herpes. So let me look at the stats for you really quick, because I want to make sure I tell you correctly. So there are 100,000 people annually that come down with herpetic whitlow. That's what I was talking about. When you get herpes on your hands, 100,000 people annually. There's 50,000 people annually that are diagnosed with ocular herpes. Again, that is very important and very crucial. Then the rest we're talking about genital herpes, oral herpes, 500,000 people are diagnosed annually with HSV2. And I couldn't find the stat on HSV1. There's has to be a lot, because there's 2 out of 3 people living with HSV2. So it's very, very, very common to have HSV1. It is so common to have HSV1. Like I said, 2 out of 3 people have HSV1. So if you think about that, a lot of times we'll think like, oh, if we're standing around the water cooler or whatever, you're at a birthday party with girlfriends or whatever, if you go around the room, you can count. You can go 1, 2, 3. Okay, those 2 have herpes. 1, 2, 3. Okay, those 2 have herpes. 1, 2, 3. You can go around the room and start counting how common it really is. Now, something that's very interesting, and a statistic that's extremely interesting, is so many people now are getting genital HSV1. So traditionally, genital herpes was thought of as HSV2, but now there's so many people that are being diagnosed with HSV1. It is creeping down there. Something I want to clarify, because just because you have oral herpes doesn't mean it doesn't go through your body and end up down there. You have to actually be infected in these areas. So it doesn't just hop all over the place. So let me know what questions you guys have. I am thrilled to answer them, glad to answer them, want to answer them. Let me know what herpes questions you have, because with so many people having it, 80% of the population has herpes. And we forget about that. We tend to think oh, I don't have it, or that's gross, or da-da-da-da, and we realize that so many people have it. So let me know what questions you guys have about it. So as far as something that we, how can you feel mouth sores coming on? There's a thing called prodrome, which are similar, which basically means symptoms that are happening. So it can be itchy, it can be tingly, it can be a burning sensation that can happen around your mouth. So typically that sensation, or just like you just kind of something, you just want to like itch it or get after it, that most likely means that you're getting something, or like a sting type of feeling. Did I have any symptoms? I did when I got oral herpes. I have both. I have HSV1 oral and HSV2 genital. I did. I got really bad oral outbreaks all over my mouth when I was first diagnosed. It was extremely painful and something that I wish upon nobody, not even your worst enemy. It's an extremely painful experience. I had flu-like symptoms. I was sick. I was really sick. Now I've had 4 oral outbreaks in 19 years, so not a lot. Doesn't happen often. It happens every couple of years, and it's usually like an alley. Partner conversations. Okay, that's a big one. That's a big trigger for a lot of people. It's a big concern for a lot of people. It's, oh my gosh, how am I going to tell my partner? And a lot of times it paralyzes us from moving forward with dating. It keeps us stuck in where we are, and I don't want that for anybody. I recommend something that we don't need to do. We don't need to disclose to everybody we come in contact with. A lot of times we think like I have to disclose to them because I'm going to go on a date. No, a date's just a date. A dinner is just a dinner. A cup of coffee is just a cup of coffee. When it's time to disclose is when we want to be intimate with that person, when we feel our relationship going to the next level. Now, there are some situations where it's like this might just be a one-night stand type of thing versus this is a longer term thing. When it comes to a one-night stand or somebody that you're like, I just want to have sex with you, then that disclosure should happen up front. If that's all you're looking for in that situation, why waste anybody's time? Like, why waste time buying drinks? Like, just get to it. But if it is something that you're looking for a longer term relationship with, then enjoy the company. Enjoy going out on dates. See if you like them. See if they're even deserving of knowing. Are you on medication to help? No, I currently am not. There are seasons in my life I have needed to be on medication, and there's times in my life where I choose not to. Right now is one of the times I choose not to. What I take instead, I have right here, I have Monolaurin and Lysine. It's a combination of Monolaurin and Lysine. I was talking about this live yesterday, and Lysine is extremely helpful when we are trying to combat the herpes virus, and it's an essential amino acid. In other words, it's a protein that we get from the foods that we consume, and it helps fight the herpes virus. It helps fight it. It helps block the replication process. We don't want the herpes virus to replicate. So by taking something like Lysine, it's going to help that. It's going to help those symptoms. You're always turning down. Okay. Why do people assume it's from sleeping around? Because of the stigma, because it is sexually transmitted. Genital herpes is primarily sexually transmitted, and what we forget is everybody has sex. So it can be from one partner. It can be if you've had one partner your entire life. We forget that oral herpes gets transmitted genitally by doing things with your mouth that are fun, and that could be from your spouse of 20 years. Doesn't mean that you slept around. People get it. Yes, there are people. It is a numbers game at some point, right? The person that has had sex with, let's say, 100 people is at a higher risk of contracting it than the person that's had sex with one person. Absolutely. It becomes a numbers game at some point. But what we're forgetting is it really has nothing to do with the number of people we've slept with. It has everything to do with the communication we've had with our partners. It has everything to do with getting tested. It has everything to be doing with what are we doing to protect our partner or myself or whoever from getting this. I'm always turned down for having it. It's very upsetting. I understand. It is upsetting. It is frustrating. I want to ask you, how are you disclosing? What's your method? If we approach it more as a sexual health conversation, more as a let's discuss our sexual health, opposed to, I have herpes, I hope you accept me, will you forgive me for getting it, I don't want to get you infected. If we approach it more of like, this is what I have, I want you to know, and here's what we're going to do to protect you. I recommend that you go get tested, because by you getting tested, we can find out you most likely have it. 90% of the people have already been exposed to the herpes virus. So by anybody that's coming to us, they've already been exposed to it at some point. If they've kissed more than 3 people, they've been exposed to it. If they've had sex with more than 3 people, they've been exposed to it. If they've had oral sex with more than 3 people, they've been exposed to it. So this person, anyone that we're going to disclose to, they've already been exposed to it. It's just a matter of educating them along the way with statistics. You've helped me so much, my family members, through their diagnosis. So great what you're doing. Oh, thank you. I'm glad I can support you and your family members. Again, it's nothing to be ashamed of. Is it annoying? Of course. Are there times you're like, oh, I wish I didn't have an outbreak? Yeah, of course. But it's a part of life. It's a part of living life. Being exposed to viruses is a part of life. And learning how to get through hard times in life is a part of life. Once we're through that journey and we realize, like, I'm letting this microscopic virus control my life, not worth it. I love all the hearts, you guys, so thank you for all the hearts. I really appreciate that. Hold it up again, please. Oh, the Monolaurin Lysine. I do have it linked in my bio. There actually is a promo going on right now for Monolaurin and Lysine. The promo, I have the regulation, no, like the description of what's going on for the promo in my bio. If you fill out an honest review on Amazon, they'll send you a bottle of whatever you like. So that's super cool. So I have that for you in the bio, in my bio. But yeah, it's Palmera Health, and definitely I have information for you there. Is it possible I might have gotten a false positive? I've never gotten an outbreak. I would say if you are diagnosed positive with herpes, it's typically accurate. It's when you get the false, I'm always like false positive, false negative. It's when you actually have herpes but get a negative. So if you've tested positive for herpes, it's pretty accurate. You don't just like randomly test positive for it. It means that you have the antibodies in your system. Most people are asymptomatic for herpes, meaning they don't get symptoms. They're not getting outbreaks. There's millions of people that are jealous of you for that. It means that your body is doing what it's supposed to be doing and fighting the virus. Can you get diagnosed and only have one outbreak? Yes, you can actually get diagnosed without even having an outbreak. Again, what happens is the virus enters our body and it decides what it wants to do. Most people come down with their first outbreak within the first 2 weeks of coming into contact with it, but other people can be years, months. It can go a long time. A lot of times you can develop the antibodies and not get an outbreak for decades. It is very interesting. Like my first oral outbreak I got in 2003, and my second oral outbreak was in 2017. So very far spaced. To go back through all my questions here. Is it possible I might have, oh, I just answered that. Hi, Lauren, nice to meet you. Getting tested doesn't really help though, right? Because herpes is not tested regularly. Yeah, so herpes is not included in and thank you for all the likes, you guys. I really appreciate the like hearts. It's fun to see them go up. Getting tested doesn't really help. Okay, so most people are not tested for herpes when you ask for an STD test. So when you go in and you're sexually active and you're like, I want to be a sexually active, responsible adult, I want to get tested for everything, you specifically have to say for herpes. Herpes is not included. So even if you're like, no, test me for everything, just do everything, they still don't do it. You say specifically for herpes. So that is very frustrating, and that's why so many people, it keeps getting transmitted. Most people are asymptomatic and don't even know they have it. Thank you for being so honest. Oh, you're welcome. I'm here and I really love talking to you all and supporting you through this. I feel like, there's this huge stigma of who has it, what they look like, how they got it, and we have to realize it has nothing to do with it. There's people all over that are living with this, and we just don't want to feel alone. Hey girl, nice to see you on TikTok Live. Nice to see you. People never know they have it. That is the frustrating thing. I always get a breakout around my mouth right before my period. Why is that? What can I do to help it? So that is very common for us to get outbreaks before our period because our hormones switch. They go up and they go down. Hormone changes are a trigger for it. A couple things I would look at, potentially, like, are your hormones level? Do you feel like there's nothing out of whack? You could potentially have your hormones checked just to make sure that nothing like weird is happening. I would also invite you to look at what other supplements are you taking? Are we getting plenty of vitamin D, plenty of vitamin C, plenty of zinc? Those are all things that help boost our immune system. The next thing I would say for oral herpes, this was created, it's the Lifesaver SPF Lip Balm. This is the first Secret Society wellness product that I created. We took over a year to formulate it. It is specifically formulated for herpes outbreaks. There's essential oils like peppermint, and we have a lysine that is infused in it that helps combat the herpes virus topically. So that's something that's really important. I would use this daily and see how it supports it. I use it daily, not necessarily to prevent herpes outbreaks, even though I do have oral herpes, but I just love the way it personally feels. I have the antibodies but never broken out 1 or 2, but the antibodies for both. So that means that you have it. That means that you can still transmit it. It's still important to disclose to partners, but the fact that you're not getting outbreaks is awesome. I mean, that's your body's doing what it's supposed to be doing. What can I do to help scarring on my lips? I would say this as well. The SPF Lip Balm, I do have it linked in my bio to shop the Secret Society wellness products. Again, there's natural organic products in here that are gonna help soothe, hydrate, calm, everything. We have coconut oil, cocoa butter, beeswax, raspberry, seed oil, all really good things to help with that. You're welcome. What are the stats of transmitting during delivery? How often does it actually happen? You know, I did look that up, I believe, yesterday. It is not very common. I don't want to state that. But I'm trying to think, let me Google it right this second. So I'm Googling it right now. But what we want to look at is, number one, get on the same page as your doctor. What does your doctor feel comfortable with when it comes to you having genital herpes? Is your doctor going to say, you know what, we're going to do a cesarean section, I don't want to take the risk? Or is your doctor saying, look, let's talk about it. How often do you get outbreaks? Are you willing to take the medication? By taking the medication, my doctor told me it can lessen the transmission rate to less than 1%. So I looked at that risk of there's so many other things that can happen. Herpes is not the top of my radar. It says here, according to, I don't even know, it says during delivery, your baby may be exposed to the virus, even if you're not having an outbreak. Herpes infections occurred in less than 1% of births. So it happens less than 1% of the time. Do I take meds daily? No, I do not. I actually take, these are some supplements I take. It's Monolaurin and Lysine. I take this daily to help support my immune health and help keep the virus out of replication mode. I do have this linked in my bio, and there is a promo going on for it. So I take this daily. It's the best out there. I've done a lot of research on it. Ginger works amazing too. Yeah, ginger is also helpful. Can someone transfer it if you've never had an outbreak and have the antibodies? No, if you have the virus, you cannot reintroduce your body with the same virus. This herpes virus, the way it works, once you have it, you have it. You cannot reinfect yourself. If your outbreak during labor, you can't have natural. So correct. If you have an outbreak during delivery, they're going to have a C-section, whatever. You take vitamin B12 and D3. Do I still need to take lysine? So vitamin B and D are different. They're for the immune system. Lysine is specific for the herpes virus. It specifically combats the herpes virus. It specifically keeps the virus out of replication mode. So I'm not a doctor. I can't recommend this, but taking this in addition to your other immune boosting vitamins, it is going to help significantly. I can feel that when I have the prodrome symptoms coming on and I take lysine, I feel it within minutes, it helping. So it is very, very helpful. All right, guys, I'm going to say goodbye. I thank you for joining me today. Thank you for supporting me. Let me know what type of content I can keep creating for you. I am here to create content and support you through this. All right, have an awesome rest of your day, and it's almost the weekend, so enjoy your long weekend. Anything that you probably have questions on would be in my bio as well. All right, I will see you soon. Bye, my friends.